With the perks of being a wallflower and Ghostbusters Afterlife, we should make Paul Rudd the go-to actor for teacher supporting roles. He's great at playing teachers. Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Benner and welcome to my review of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife is the sequel to the first two Ghostbusters films directed by Ivan Reitman, and this film is directed by his son Jason Reitman, and this film stars McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, Carrie Coon, and Paul Rudd. Afterlife is set 32 years after Ghostbusters 2. A single mother and her two kids have been evicted from their apartment, and they move to a small town in Oklahoma, where her two kids discovered a secret legacy of the Ghostbusters that their grandfather left behind. Now, to quickly give my thoughts on the first two Ghostbusters film and the 2016 film. The first Ghostbusters, an iconic comedy and one of the greatest comedies of the 80s and of all time. Ghostbusters 2, not as good as the first movie, but I still get enjoyment out of it. And Ghostbusters 2016, I did not like that movie. That movie kind of felt more like an SNL skit than a Ghostbusters movie. And I thought it was not very funny and it was boring. And to me, that movie just did not justify its existence, and I would give it a 2 out of 5 stars. And when I heard they were making a new Ghostbusters movie, and it was going to be more of a sequel to the first two movies, and Jason Reitman was going to direct it, I was excited to see what they could do with this. And when the trailer first came out, I thought it looked great and promising. And as you may remember, this movie was originally supposed to come out in summer of 2020. I believe it was supposed to come out in July. And because of the pandemic, this movie has been through many delays. And then it finally came out on November of 2021. And this is one of my most anticipated movies for the rest of 2021. I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife recently, and now time to do my review of it. And what are my thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife? I am happy to say that I had a blast with Ghostbusters Afterlife. To start with the positives, first, the cast is great. I really liked McKenna Grace as the main character Phoebe. She was great, she was funny, likable, and intelligent. And Finn Wolfhard also does a good job as her brother Trevor. And I also like that he wasn't just an angsty teenager, and he was just trying to adjust moving into a small town. Carrie Coon also does a good job as the mother, and I really like the heart between her and her daughter, and really going into her family and who her father was. And I really like Paul Rudd as this middle school teacher, and Paul Rudd just continues to be one of the funniest and likable actors out there. This film is directed by Jason Reitman, and like I said, he is the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first two Ghostbusters movie, and that gave me hope that this new Ghostbusters movie would be in good hands. And I was also curious to see how he would handle a bigger budget film like this, and I'm used to seeing direct movies like Thank You for Smoking, Juno, which would be my personal favorite of his, Up in the Air, and honestly thought he did a great job handling this movie. Not only do I think he did a great job of making this story his own and making a new, entertaining Ghostbusters movie, I also felt like he did an excellent job paying tribute to the legacy of Harold Ramis, and also to his father's work, paying homage to the first two movies. And there are some entertaining sequences in this movie, especially this one action scene involving the Ecto-1. Phoebe, Trevor, and her new friend Podcast are chasing down this ghost muncher that was great. And there was also a funny sequence where Paul Rudd goes into Walmart, and there was a scene with these little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, and that entire scene with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, that had me laughing so much. And what I also appreciate about this movie, I think this is the most heartfelt Ghostbusters movie. I really cared about these characters, I really loved seeing their family dynamic, and most of all, the third act of this movie is fantastic. Without spoiling anything for those who haven't seen it yet, the entire third act of this movie I believe is worth the price of admission. And I believe the fans of the first two Ghostbusters movie, with that third act, I have a feeling they will be satisfied. And there are some callbacks and fan service to the first two Ghostbusters films. Now with fan service in films, it could go either way for me. Sometimes it can feel earned and justified like in Avengers Endgame, while other times it can feel forced like in Rise of Skywalker. But here I felt like the fan service was just right, respectfully paying homage to the original films without feeling it's shoving down your throat and being distracting in every scene. Sadly, I have a few issues with this movie. I will get to those right now. First, I do feel like the first act takes a bit of a while to get going, some little pacing issues at the beginning of the film. And there were a few jokes that didn't quite land and weren't exactly funny. And lastly, while I didn't have a problem with the fan service, I will admit there were one or two callbacks that did feel a bit forced. When they were said, I was like, did they really need to put that there? Overall, while I don't think this will be seen as a classic like the original film, I think Ghostbusters Afterlife is an entertaining and satisfying film. A great cast, entertaining sequences, and a great and emotional third act that I believe is worth the price of admission. And if you haven't seen this movie yet, and if you are a Ghostbusters fan and it looks interesting to you, definitely check it out. Or if you've seen bits of the first two Ghostbusters film, and if you're looking forward to this film, I still think this movie is entertaining on its own. And overall, I'm going to give Ghostbusters Afterlife 4 stars out of 5, a B+. Definitely my second favorite Ghostbusters movie since the classic original. If they're planning on doing a sequel to this movie, and if Jason Reitman is going to return as director, and then I am definitely interested. I would like to see more of these characters in the future. So what do you guys think of Ghostbusters Afterlife? Do you agree? Disagree with me? Let me know below. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot. I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.